I think sometimes practices know they need help, whether it's another technician or front office staff or a veterinarian, but they haven't really established who they are very well, and so they're not hiring the right bodies that fit well within the culture they have. And I think that's part of the problem. So I think instead of hiring a warm body that fills a spot, taking the time, maybe struggling a little bit being short staffed, but taking the time to really investigate, okay, who are we? What are our practice values? What's our mission here? What's our vision? And then hiring according to those values and that mission and that vision, so that the people you're hiring are coming on with similar values, and they're driven toward the same purpose that you are.
So the big question is this: how do veterinarians like you, who live demanding lives,
who never seem to have enough time, able to achieve balance and take control of your finances with confidence?
That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answers.
We are Florida Veterinary Advisors, and this is the Smarter Vet Podcast. Hey, Smarter Vet. Welcome back to the Smarter Vet Financial Podcast. This is your co-host, Tom Seeko, and I'm co-founder of Florida Veterinary Advisors. We are a national personal and business financial planning firm devoted to the veterinary community to provide a different way of thinking to make financial decisions easy so you can spend time doing other things that you love. If you've not had a chance to check out all of our other resources, if you're like, hey, I want to nerd out on some more things outside of this show, we have masterclasses galore, CEs, assessments, blogs, videos, a bunch of stuff through our website at flvetadvisors.com. And if you're a reader and you want to pick up a copy of our book called Unleash the Financial Clarity Every Veterinarian Needs, that is available through amazon.com, and you can grab that in a paper version or a Kindle. And surprisingly, you do not need a Kindle to read the Kindle version. You just got to download the app, which is even better. I've got a fun guest with me here today. I've known her for quite some time. I'm really excited to bring her on the show. And I think she will be able to provide some good insights when it just comes to overall business, veterinary practice management, and some things along that range. And who I want to bring on here today her name is Lindsay McMakin. She's a certified veterinary practice manager, a leader in veterinary consulting with more than 25 years of experience, has an MBA, which is awesome, a CVPM credential, and she is the founder of McMakin Veterinary Consulting Group. So she's been at this for quite some time, and I'm really thrilled to bring her expertise into this. So Lindsay, I'm thankful that you're here with us. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, thank you for that introduction, Tom. I'm excited to be here. Excited to share what I know to help those in the veterinary world do what they do a little better.
Awesome. Well, let's get started here. So beyond what I've already shared, there's people who aren't familiar with you, and there's maybe some things you want to highlight. Tell us a bit about your journey. What drew you into the industry, and what inspired you to start consulting?
Sure. So I'll back kind of way up. In high school, I wanted to either be a teacher or a veterinarian, which is very totally different from each other. Mm-hmm. And so I started college on the early childhood education path, but I got hired on at my own pet's veterinary office as a receptionist. And I did quickly realize that I didn't want to be a veterinarian, but I loved vet medicine, and I loved working at the practice that I was in. I did go on to finish my education degree and taught for 2 years, but I stayed part-time at the clinic that I was working in because there was just something about being there that kept a little passion or fire ignited. I never saw myself in a classroom long term. I did think I would always move more into an administrative type position. So when the owner of the practice I was in offered a position to be a practice manager, I was very interested. I didn't know what I was going to be doing exactly as a practice manager because we never had a practice manager there, but I was interested. So I prayed about that decision for a while and felt like that was really what I was supposed to do. So I finished out that year of teaching and came on full time as a practice manager. Throughout my time as a practice manager, I really became passionate about developing our team and also helping our practice thrive financially. Those were kind of the two passions that really got ignited as I
Nice.
managed to practice. I also started a monthly meeting for veterinary practice managers in the upstate of South Carolina. And that's where I think McMakin Veterinary Consulting Group blossomed out of. I started really enjoying helping other practices. And I thought, I think I want to make a career out of that. And so, discussions with my husband and this decided to phase out of managing my practice and start our own business. So we started that together in January of 2015 and haven't stopped since.
That's
So,
awesome.
Yeah.
Good for you
Uh,
guys. That's cool. It's unique seeing people's experience and what kind of pulls them in different directions. And I'm glad to see that you're having a lot of progress and success within the industry and helping people out there. And on the note of the support you're offering, based on the experience that you have with a lot of practices out there, what are some of the top challenges you see that a lot of them are struggling with today?
I would say that's a good question. What I'm seeing right now is staffing definitely continues to be the biggest pain point.
Okay.
Finding staff, training them, retaining good team members. Many practices are currently short staffed, so that kind of leads to burnout and high turnover. On top of that, or another challenge I would see practices struggling with is financial literacy. So practice owners know the medicine, but not necessarily the business part of things, and that leads to poor decision making. But that's where hopefully our company comes in to help them better understand the business and financial aspects of things, where
Of
we can
course.
coach them and help them do. Veterinarians need to focus on what they do best, which is practicing medicine, and leave business and financial management to those of us who do that best, like you yourself.
I agree. It's one of those things, like I leave animal care to the veterinarians. I think the vice versa is I had to have my dog's knee repaired recently. He had his CCL torn and his they call it a MPL or something with his knee popping in and out. And so I don't know how to do anything. I mean, I could YouTube it and maybe try to figure it out, but no, I'll leave that up to the vets. I'll let them. It's kind of like what we're doing here. The way I look at it is like
Right.
we're almost doing like surgery financially on the business to the most part. I mean, can be very complex for a lot of people.
Exactly.
When we talk about staff, because it's interesting that you bring that subject up, because it's ping ponging over the years here around. There is a shortage. There's not enough veterinarians. Are you seeing it's just not enough qualified people that are able to work within the practice? Is it more of practice owners are unwilling to hire more people? Is there a lack of training? Like, which one would you say is more of or is there something completely outside of that that's really driving that?
Yeah, I think sometimes practices know they need help, whether it's another technician or front office staff or a veterinarian, but they haven't really established who they are very well, and so they're not hiring the right bodies that fit well within the culture they have.
Mm,
And I think that's part of the problem. So I think instead of hiring a warm body that fills a spot, taking the time, maybe struggling a little bit being short staffed, but taking the time to really investigate, okay, who are we? What are our practice values? What's our mission here? What's our vision? And then hiring according to those values and that mission and that vision, so that the people you're hiring are coming on with similar values, and they're driven toward the same purpose that you are.
mm. Yeah, I mean, I would 100% agree with what you're saying. It's fascinating. It's the first thought that you came up with, because I think about that all the time, and it's neat how you are mentioning. It's like, yeah, it seems that a lot of people, they run a business, it seems they get sucked into the weeds of things and they don't realize how much their leadership as an owner impacts the environment. And when you just kind of take people and throw them against the wall and then see if they're going to stick or not, like put them in one of the sticky suits and like, hey, is this going to work? culturally with the
Exactly.
principles. Yeah, that's so. I would say from like for people who are struggling, that's probably a really good way to help improve culture and help strengthen what's happening in there. I would imagine with the people who already live there, trying to clarify that, and then also at the same time, for trying to bring new people on, is being able to communicate that vision to them.
Yes. So hiring, I call it hiring with purpose, um, and knowing who you are, you being the leader and you being your practice, and the standard of care and the philosophy of medicine you have, but along with the culture that you're trying to grow and develop, knowing all of those things really does help you hire with that purpose and hire the right fit for your practice. So hopefully they stay because they feel appreciated, they feel part of the team, they feel that ownership and in their role there within their practice.
Do you think it's more of a is it the message is not getting communicated out there enough for owners of hey, you need a vision and values for your business? Is it just not being communicated, or is it more if it is being communicated and people are just making up the excuse of no time, not sure where to start? Like, what do you think that is?
I think time definitely is a factor. Um, they or they it's a or maybe it's more prioritizing which is what is important.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes I think they know what they need to do. They know they need to have core values and a vision, a mission statement, and things like that. But I think they don't prioritize that as a higher priority and realize that that can drive a lot of what they do in their practice. Not it's not just about who they hire, but it drives everything in your business. You know how we're going to practice medicine and how we're going to treat our clients and things like that.
Gotcha. Yeah, there's one person that makes me think a lot of. His name is Marcus Lemonis. He was on a show called The Prophets. He's the owner of Camping World, and I remember this like it's
Okay.
imprinted in my brain. He talks about it's people, process, and product, and he put people first because people are. It's like without the people, your business is basically nothing because you need the people to help operate at a very high and efficient level, and for you to be able to do what you do best. Otherwise, if you don't have the people or they're not the right people there, then your business is going to struggle and finances are probably going to suffer and the business might not really ever grow, or maybe financially you're always in the red because of that, right?
Right.
Well, the thing about like finances, there's a lot of mistakes. When we talk about like financial literacy, I see that all the time myself, where it's the acumen. I hear it all the time too, where there's just not enough education around that. What some of the mistakes and pain points that are out there. What are some suggestions that you would say that they can be able to really hone in and get a little bit more educated around it, or be able to focus on some of the numbers and get them under control? What are some things that you could share?
Yeah. I think a lot of practices, like you said, financial, or I had mentioned financial literacy, they don't really understand how to interpret their profit and loss statement. They
Mm,
don't understand really what cost of goods sold are, and they don't understand markup strategies. And I think a big mistake is running the practice based on what's in their bank account, whether rather than the financial reports. So they're like, okay, I've got enough to cover payroll in the bank account, so we're good. Or I've
we're
got
good,
enough
right?
to pay these 5 vendor bills, so we're good. But that's more reactive
Hmm.
business and financial management than proactive. So helping a practice you get control by one thing that we do is for new bookkeeping clients is align their chart of accounts with the AHA standard. It helps make things easier to read in terms of this group of numbers are my cost of goods sold, and I can see those as a percentage of my revenue, and I need to know what that benchmark is, and which is like 18 to 22%, and oh, mine are 30%. Then helping them understand what they need to do with that information. So starting by aligning their chart of accounts with the AHA guidelines is definitely a great way to get control and helps them track benchmarks Looking at those benchmarks monthly too is great. And then I would say don't be afraid to ask for help. Trying to practice medicine and do the bookkeeping and things like that can be a little daunting or overwhelming. So having a veterinary specific bookkeeper or consultant can make a huge difference.
Okay. So, AHA, because let's talk on that for a moment here too, because it's,
Sure.
it seems like this whole, when I think of AHA chart of accounts, there's stuff that's online, but then it's like, how complicated is it for most people to be able to adapt to that? And how often are you actually finding practices that you're working with out of the gate have that set up?
Most practices that come to us are not on the AHA chart of accounts. I mean, get just in the 11 years I've been consulting, that was actually one thing that my husband and I noticed was the bookkeeping was a mess. And so that's when we started offering bookkeeping services. And looking at their chart of accounts, and things were all over the place. You got, maybe you just have one line item that says total income, and then you've got one line item that says cost of goods sold, but I'm not able to see, what part of that cost of goods sold is labs, and what part of that cost of goods sold is food, and what part of that is professional services, and what part of that is medications, and then
Right.
what part of those cost of goods sold, what are they as a percentage of that same specific income item. And so helping them dive into that. I don't know, maybe I'm a big nerd, but it's a lot of fun digging into the numbers with them and helping them understand that better. Changing over to I think part of your question was how easy or hard is that for a client to follow? It's more, it is a little work up front to get your books changed over and aligned with the chart of accounts, and to get your system and processes in place to be able to track your revenue in different categories, as well as your cost of goods sold in different categories. But you can use your vendors and sales reps and things like that to help you. So most vendors and pharmaceutical companies, you just got to ask for them to turn on the general ledger coding, and your invoices automatically tell you how to code it. So let's just say I've got one pharmaceutical bill, it's $5,000. It'll tell me that $1,000 goes to vaccines, and it'll tell me $1,000 goes to professional services, and it'll tell me $1,000 was lab cost. And so it'll break it out for you, so you know exactly how to code that invoice in your accounting software. So yeah.
Okay. It seems like as long as you were to maybe put some attention on it, of course, work with someone like yourself to be able to get that sorted out, it can help provide a lot of clarity, which then instead of things, I've noticed even myself with things are just clumped together, and it's what is that, and how do we know if you're spending too much or too little? And so that's really good insights that you're providing there. And looking at trends or changes that are shaping the veterinary practice management, like what do you see them over the next few years? Like what do you see changing or trends that are happening right now?
I think technology is definitely going to continue to reshape workflow. So there's technology out there that's allowing us to automate processes and procedures.
Right.
Definitely AI. Everyone's talking about AI. So we have AI assisted diagnostics now, AI assistance with scribing our medical notes. And I think that's definitely something that is out there, and it's up and coming. I think there'll be smarter scheduling systems too. But the human element is definitely more important than ever, because I think our clients are really starving for personalized communication. And then staff are wanting flexible schedules and a culture that supports that and supports wellness. So, the people part is definitely important, not just technology.
Gotcha.
So I think practices too that are invest in leadership training and team development and financial clarity are going to have more of a competitive edge in both retention and profitability.
Okay. Yeah, so technology, I will say, is a big thing. There are a lot of people who are adapting it, and there's a lot of people who are not. So, I keep thinking of like, what is the adoption curve that's out there? Similar to like the statistical bell curve. Like there's the early adapters, and then there's the ones after a little while, and then there's a group of people, and then there's like the late adapters after a while. And it's pretty incredible when you can really be able to see if there's a way, the things that just take up a lot of time, being able to utilize them in a way to be able to cut that time period down or be able to reduce some of the costs in the business by using them. And I know even an example of mine, like I've been using AI a lot because it's nice to be able to take something that would take me an hour, hour and a half to do. And within 5 minutes, I've got it done if you learn how to prompt and do it properly with the systems. And it's incredible how much how much time it saves. It's amazing. So
Exactly. Yeah, I've definitely been dabbling in AI myself to help with more concise and clear writing. I can tell it what I want it to say, and it spits out something better than I think I would have thought up on my own.
that's really cool. Well, if you could leave our listeners with one actionable tip to help their practice thrive, what would it be?
One actionable tip to help them thrive.
Just one. I mean, you can have two if you want, but one,
okay.
Ideally.
So scheduling a monthly leadership meeting, even if that's just you as the owner and your manager, I mean, even if that's just two people, to review key numbers, discuss team wins and challenges, and then setting a goal for the next upcoming month. I think it's one habit that's going to create accountability and really keep you your finger on the pulse of your practice, and move you from that reactive to proactive management.
Yeah, that's very great action tip, because if you don't devote the time to it, then it's going to constantly get ignored. And then whatever the results are the results, and you're just going to have to deal with what they are until you actually jump in. So I love it. That's fantastic advice. How do people get in contact with you if they want to talk, they want to have a discussion? Like, what does that look like?
The easiest way to book a consult, we do a complimentary consult to assess needs, is to go to our website, mcmakinconsulting.com. And there's a couple different areas on there where you can click to book a consult, and it goes onto my calendar, and they can book a 1-hour consult, and we kind of go from there. That's awesome. The easiest way to get me.
Well, for anyone who did miss that, if you were driving or listening to this on the go, I'll make sure to include that and other information for Lindsay and her company within the show notes. And Lindsay, look, it's been fantastic. Thanks for taking your time with us, for all the listeners here today, and sharing some of these valuable insights.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for having me as a guest. And we pride ourselves on coming alongside the teams that we work with to help them reach their full potential. So really, it's just our passion to work with these practices and help them thrive and succeed at what they're doing.
Smarter Vet, thanks for joining us. If this is your first time listening, we hope you enjoyed the show. If you're one of our active listeners, we're glad that you're here. If you found that this conversation was insightful, please take it and share with a friend or 3 so you can help spread the word. And if you've not had a chance to rate or review us on Apple or Spotify, stop the show now, rate us, review us, because it really allows for other people to find us easily and be able to enjoy the same great content you've been able to enjoy here today. This is Tom Seeko, wishing you a lifetime of financial success. Don't forget to visit our website and sign up for our newsletter. By subscribing, you'll be the first to know about upcoming race-approved CE webinars, podcast releases, short presentations, and articles that we publish. Make sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on LinkedIn, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.